Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of the Sunday Drive, sponsored by Midtown Mattress in downtown Lindsay. They are so much more than just a mattress store. They have a whole new home furnishings and decor section, so make sure you check it out. Thanks to them for sponsoring this. And as you probably know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and this month I'm interviewing my good friend Sue Jarvis Moynes, who is a 37-year cancer survivor. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this edition of your Sunday Drive. Okay, so October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm here with my good friend Sue Jarvis Moynes, and she is a 37-year cancer survivor. And just before we start, Sue, I want to give people some statistics with cancer, because 1 in 8 women, right, in our lifetime will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and 1 in 31 of them will die from breast cancer. And 26,300 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer this year, and 5,000 will die from it. And breast cancer accounts for approximately 26% of new cases of cancer and 13% of cancer deaths in Canadian women. So you have defied all of those odds.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. 37 years cancer free.
Mm-hmm.
Way to go.
Thank you.
That's exciting. But let's go back, because 37 years ago when you were diagnosed, you had two young kids, right?
Yes.
So tell me what happened. How did you find out? What were your symptoms, and kind of what prompted you to get it checked out?
At the time, my husband and I have been playing a lot of volleyball in the winter. We played volleyball in the winter and baseball in the summer. And we were away in the Bahamas on a vacation, and I found a lump, and I thought it was just from so much volleyball, like just whatever. Came home, had it checked. That was on a Thursday. On a Friday, I was at the surgeon. He extracted some fluid. Sunday, I was in the hospital. Monday, I had a biopsy. And Wednesday, I had a radical mastectomy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So what is a radical mastectomy?
A total removal of the breast, and I had 14 lymph nodes removed, because that's how they check to see if it's metastasized into the rest of the body.
And had it?
No.
No.
It had only gone to the third one. So I'm not sure at that time what they call because now you hear stage 1, stage 2, stage 4.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm sure it was different then. And also I had a friend who was a nurse who was taking me to all the appointments. So she probably did more of the medical research and just kind of gave us the information we needed to make a decision.
So you only had days to make that decision whether or not you were going to have that radical surgery.
Yeah, or have a second opinion.
Wow.
But she'd already checked on the surgeon and looked at all the stats and everything, and just said that she recommended that this was probably our best, just to get it done and be done with it real quick.
So how did you feel going into that surgery?
On the Sunday night, I can remember being at the hospital and being upset, and my husband at the time, and the nurse saying, "Oh, it's okay, it's fun, don't worry about it, it'll be fine." And I just said, no, it might not be fine. But my concern was that I wouldn't be here for my children as they grow up. It moved very fast from there. The surgeon was excellent. And then there was a bit of medication involved after, so I don't know whether I was in the proper frame of mind, but I was in the hospital for 10 days, and then I just thought, something happened in the hospital. I don't know what it was, but maybe I just felt that everything was going to be okay.
Something came over you.
Yes.
Divine intervention.
Yes.
Or something that you just knew that everything was going to be okay.
And you don't know if it's the medication or, because I don't know if I believe in divine, but something I felt I was going to be okay. So I went with what I felt and started my chemotherapy.
I was going to say, did you have to have chemotherapy?
I did,
okay.
And I was too young for radiation at the time. And at the time, they also sent me to St. Mike's to have the chemo rather than Princess Margaret, because having young children, you would see young children in the hospital, and it wasn't as apt to be young children at the St. Mike's. So I had all my treatments at St. Mike's. It was a very old British treatment. I think they called it a 5FU, and it just involved an IV with 3 different needles at that time going into your system, then going home, being home for 3 weeks, and then coming back, having your blood tested, and do the same thing over again.
And how long did that last?
8 months.
8 months of chemotherapy. Mm-hmm. And how did you fare with the chemotherapy?
I was fine. I was lucky. I had, at the time, my sister-in-law cut most of my hair off so that it wouldn't, if it fell out. I continued my life. Just that weekend, my mom would have to be there to look after the children because I was really sick. And then after that, I continued on with my life. I played baseball. A funny story, I didn't realize there were so many steroids in the chemo. And I went one day and I was complaining my ball uniform was too tight. And he asked me what position I played, and I said I pitched. And he said, that's because your arm. So that's what happened.
Oh, wow. Really, eh?
Yeah.
So you became...
Yeah, just one side, though.
Oh, no.
But I did lose, like, all my body hair, except my hair didn't. It just came back short, gray, and not as curly as when...
It's so weird how that happens, isn't it?
I know. But other than that, I didn't really have... My skin went funny, like alligator skin, I used to call it. But really, I was fine, and I had such a great support group with all my neighbors and my family and my friends and stuff that it made that 8 months go really fast.
So you think support?
Oh, for
groups
sure.
like that is very helpful.
For sure. I was all positive reinforcement all the time, and like I said, I had a really good friend who was a neighbor and a nurse, and she went through everything with me. Took me to all my treatments and all my follow-up reports after that, because I went for the next 10 years.
How often?
Every 3 months for the first year, then 6 months for the next year, and then every year after that. And we'd go in around the 1st of December and have everything was always fine. So.
But every year that would be like a kind of a reminder and bring it up. Every year it would be more anxiety, more worry.
Well, because every year I always got a positive report every year. So for me, and unfortunately there was about 15 girls, kind of my age, a little bit older, a little bit younger, opted for different treatments than I did. Like we all had different doctors, and I'm the only one that's still here today.
Wow. And what do you credit that to, other than, because I know you personally, so I know the strength of your spirit. But what else you credit that to? Just the fact that you did have the radical mastectomy and had it so quickly? And I had the whatever. A lot of them went for a lumpectomy. A lot of them went to the holistic medicine, which that many years ago was different than it is, I think, today. So yeah, I think I was just lucky. I hit the right doctors. The timing was perfect, and I just was in the right place at the right time. It wasn't my time. Yeah. How would you say that diagnosis and the subsequent treatment changed you and changed your life? I think every day you wake up and you're happy. You're thankful that you have that day because you might not have had it. I've been able to see my children grow up, see my grandchildren grow up, and I don't think about it so much anymore, but I do think about it around the time every year, and I think, wow, another year, like how can I be so lucky, and I just think I am lucky. Like I was fortunate that it didn't have any other, because there's so many people that have it recurring, and the radiation, and but it wasn't in our family or anything, so you eat healthy too, though. I try to. I don't look like I eat healthy. You do, though. I do. Very healthy. Yes, I do. I do try to eat healthy. And I do try to, like if they recommend to stay away from something, I try to stay away from that. So. And you've also spent a number of years fundraising. Yes. Right? Tell me more about that. My friend and I, about 10 years ago, her sister was a double breast cancer survivor. And she decided in honor of us that she would have this fashion show. So her and I got together, and on a whim we had a fashion show, and it was so much work and so much fun, and everybody was just like so enthralled with it. Like they just like, oh my goodness, you guys did such a great job, you got to do this next year. And we're like looking at each other thinking, wow, what just happened?
Anyway, we continued it on for 7 years. And every year we were sold out practically the day of that fashion show for the next year.
Wow.
We had so many people that contributed. There were so many volunteers. There was so much support from everybody in the small community. And anyway, we ended up raising about $17,000, which we gave to breast cancer.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
Breast cancer. Well, we tried to do it for the training or the teaching. That's the part we wanted it to go to, because we felt that was needed.
Important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
And we always tried to reinforce to have mammograms and get yourself checked and check yourself. And don't wait till you're 30 or 40 like they tell you. I was only 29 when I had my first mammogram. Due to the fact that my sister had passed from leukemia, they decided that I would start. And I'm really thankful that was done early.
Yeah, for sure. And is that when they found it?
No, actually I had a mammogram in December and it didn't show anything. But I might not have been so aware of lumps and stuff if I hadn't been having mammograms. Because you don't think of it, right? You think I'm too young.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I remember feeling like being very so nervous when I found the lump. I even had my girlfriend, another neighbor, come over and check it, and she says, "Don't wait, just go. Like it's no. If it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. You know."
Yeah.
But it was her encouraging, and it is scary at that moment when you find the lump.
Yeah, because I found one too, remember? And
Yes.
the first person I contacted was you.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Sue, I found a lump. And mine was huge. Like, I forget what they said, like 3 centimeters or something. And like you said, it's very unnerving to get that. And I was convinced that,
Yes.
you know, that's what it was, that I had cancer. And it turned out it wasn't. It was a cyst of some sort, fluid, and they drained it and everything was fine. But I can totally relate to that feeling of terror that might be what it is.
Exactly.
But you have to force yourself to go and get it checked, because not doing anything is not helping.
Exactly. Because if it's not cancer, it probably won't be. But if it is, it can,
You need to treat it right away.
Right, exactly. So, and like I said, I think 37 years ago it was handled a lot different than what it is today. But
Do you think better or worse?
I think I was treated really well, really fast, and perfectly. Like everything went perfect.
Yeah. And how old were your kids at the time?
6 and 7.
6 and 7. So how did you explain it to them?
We just said Mommy was sick. We didn't really go into the big C word too much. We let them ask questions. After I had the surgery, we showed them the surgery. It was no big deal. They just never thought one way or the other. My neighbor's son was very clever, little boy. He was 5. He asked a lot of questions. So he came over and we showed him the surgery as well. And, oh, okay, well, that's fine. And if I can tell the story about my grandson.
Yes.
He was little. He happened to catch me one day in the bedroom. It's not that I flaunted around in front of him. And he came and he looked at me and he said, "Grandma." And I said, "What?" And he goes, he's looking at my breast. And I said, "Oh, one was sick, so the doctor took it off." And he goes, "Oh." So he goes out to his mom and he says, "Mom, do you know that Grandma has 1 boobie and 2 belly buttons?" Kids.
So simple.
He was like 3 or 4, right? And and it was sick. I mean, that's how you explained it. It was sick, right?
Now tell me about your prosthetics. Do you wear?
I do. I get a prosthesis that I buy, and I wear a prosthetic bra, and it just slips in there. And I have one for swimming, and I have different kinds of bras, and just.
Where do you get them?
These ones I've just recently started going to my left breast in Peterborough. The ladies are lovely there, and they're very knowledgeable. And I've worn the same prosthesis for 37 years.
Wow.
And the same bra. Like, it's not the same bra. Of course, I bought new bras, but
the same style.
The same style, and they have to order them in because they all have all different kinds, but they have like bathing suits. And I know my friend that's going through it now, that she goes to a place in Oshawa. I'm not quite sure the name, but they supply the hats and the scarves because she's had to have all her hair off. So, there is a lot of support out there there wasn't so much when I was
Yeah, luckily you had good friends and neighbors.
Yes,
But,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
for sure.
I did. Yeah.
And so if there was anything you wanted people watching to take from this, what would it be?
Just to check yourself. And don't be afraid to go and get it checked. I mean, I don't know. You have to have those tests done. You have to be proactive, and you have to, if you don't feel good about what's going on, go again. Do it again. Do it again.
Yeah.
Just keep it up. Don't.
If you feel something is not right,
yes,
go with your.
yes.
Women have very good internal instincts,
exactly,
and we need to listen to ourselves.
And don't just don't take whatever they say. Just go ahead and do whatever. Like, you have to continue and fight for yourself.
Thanks for joining us. Thanks, Sue. Appreciate it. That's
Thanks,
this edition of our Sunday Drive. And our Sunday Drive, as I said before, is sponsored by Midtown Mattress. And they are not only mattresses, they have, as I said before, a huge new selection of home furnishings and home decor. They have some really cool stuff in there. So go in and check it out. And thanks to them for making this segment possible.